Welcome back, and you are on the wireless. This is Come Get Your Bag, your lunchtime business show. And I did mention earlier that we have a special guest today. Her name is Phuti from Mandlovu Homemade Ginger Beer. So you do not want to miss this one. She will be talking to us later about her homemade ginger beer and how the business came about. If you have just joined us, welcome to Come Get Your Bag. And as I promised you earlier, we do have Phuti from Mandlovu Homemade Ginger Beer. How are you doing?
Hi, Lunathi. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so glad you are here. We haven't seen each other in a while.
In a very long time, yes.
How's everything going? So tell the audience about who you are. Tell us about your business, where it came about.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite. So let's nice talk about my business. So I enjoy what I'm doing. Okay,
Yeah.
Ndingo Phuti Swapi
Mm-hmm.
from Queenstown is Beleni. I studied in Port Elizabeth, my undergrad, when I did meet you. And then I further my studies in Johannesburg. So I'm a water engineer by profession. Yeah, that's what I furthered. If you remember, I did civil at NMU then. Okay. I did civil at NMU, then I did water engineering in Johannesburg. That went well. So I after finishing at UJ, I went back to Queenstown. Job scarcity happened, and that was in 2021, in between 2021 and 2020. 2020 and then, but 2021, let's just say 2021.
Okay.
So I'm the director of Teacher Holdings. There's a company that I registered in 2021. And then in 2022, October, I established this brand under Teacher Holdings called the Mandlovu Ginger Beer because I like ginger beer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got this interest in the cold beverage space. It started off as a hobby, still slightly is, but then now it's a paying hobby.
Right. So before we get into that, how did you get into water engineering, considering you started with civil?
Yes. So with civil you have majors. So water is one of your majors. Water, that's your water infrastructure, your dams, your pipes, and anything that's water infrastructure related.
Okay.
Then you get other major: structural engineering, geotechnical engineering, and others. So I gravitated more towards the water engineering subjects. Hence I furthered in water engineering. That's just designed from when water is received from the source to your tap in the house. That whole process, basically, the study of that whole process. So it's municipal water.
Okay.
It's purifying water. Yeah.
So how did we jump from that to making ginger beer?
Big one, big jump.
Yeah, someone else would say, okay, it's not related to, purifying water, for example, right?
No, not really. This is a cold beverage. This is food and beverage, and the other one is purely engineering. So the core of beverages is water, but I didn't immediately really. It's only now that I'm starting to take it back. Like if you look at the food, the supply chain of the whole thing, where I'm looking at purifying my own water for my drinks. That's only coming on later. This came about from just not having a job, and there's something that you can do. So in 2021, I moved back to Johannesburg because I thought looking for work that side would be easier. 2020, I came back to Queenstown. Right. This is after the studies, the water, right? And so 2021, I had gone to a family gathering in Johannesburg. So when I was there staying at my aunt's place, I would make ginger beer for the household. I got the recipe from one of my aunts. However, when she drinks it now, she's like, this is not the ginger beer I told you, because I've kind of played around with it also. And the reason I asked for it was just because I like ginger beer, and she was someone who would make it when there's like there's something happening, So like, I'd love to know how to make this. So Fast forward 2021, I'm back in Johannesburg. I'm just making it for the household as I'm job hunting and I'm
Right.
living there. My son was still staying that side. So then one of the guests, like someone at home, I don't know, yeah, someone at home was like, "This is really good. You could sell this."
Yes.
Like, for real, I never
Do you
really.
think so?
Do you think so? So, people were willing to buy. So really, I started making for close family, friends, and friends in Johannesburg. So when I was that side, so people would buy it for just people that I know,
Right.
for weddings or just people that know that I can make it. Then when I now moved back to Queenstown to take care of my dad, job hunting still. There was still now people who knew I could make it, like the people
The
who
word
are,
got out.
yes, who are based in Johannesburg, but then who will probably have something in Queenstown, like, no, I think Puti's around and she can make this.
Yes.
So that's how it started off here. Then I realized, man, okay, maybe if I could brand this could be something, because you go to shops, you realize there are similar drinks, there are fermented drinks. So my passion is around fermented drinks in general, like your kombuchas, all your health drinks. That's the broader thing that I'm into.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, great. Thank you so much. And we are back with Phuti Swapi from Mandlovu Ginger Beer. So earlier you were telling us the history of the business, right? And how you started the ginger beer. Now, just for the audience to understand why you started it and also the quality aspect of it, right? And how many stores are you in and how are you making sure that your product is perhaps different or better than the rest that are on the market?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So first and foremost, I like ginger beer personally.
Yeah.
I like ginger beer, and for people who know me, they'll know that it's also part and parcel of my sobriety journey, because a lot of
Okay.
people like to if you're trying to get off of alcohol, you'll substitute with ginger
Something
beer
else,
or something
right?
else. So ginger beer, water, those are the stuff you'd want to go for. So yeah, I like ginger beer and just fermented drinks in general, like your kombucha, because of the health benefits, because they're packed with nutrients.
Right, right.
The herb, ginger herb. I mean, your indigenous knowledge, ginger, the actual herb, is great for flu. Dr. Chakani even says, like, this is a doctor who once told me that for you, it acts as an immune booster, the actual ginger herb. And if you notice my ginger beer, I use quite a bit of ginger beer because I want to get the taste of ginger beer. I'm quite generous with my ginger in my specific drink.
Okay.
So the health benefits of it, and also in summer, you can use it. It's a refresher. It's quite refreshing.
Right.
And people,
Absolutely.
Papalas is great. And so it's packed with probiotics. That's your fermented drinks. So it's the health benefits. Reducing diabetes. Also, that's what fermented drinks. If you notice kombucha, that's a drink for people who are diabetic most of the time, because of the process that eats up the sugar, the fermenting and the bacteria, that process eats up the sugar and the calories.
Okay,
actually,
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I'm actually learning how to make kombucha at the moment. I've got a SCOBY that I'm trying to grow.
So that will be part of the catalog.
That is definitely coming up as soon as I'm ready. But yeah, it needs to be a well-developed space, because it's a home-based business. So when I went back to Queenstown, I converted a part of my home in Queenstown into a working space, but it's growing.
And so in terms, what stores are you in first? Or are you in any stores based in Queenstown?
Yes, I'm in Queenstown. It's one of the super spas.
Okay.
There's Mans. People know about Mans, the Chisanyama, that, and Stegstrom. So Stegstrom, I do take out out of Queenstown now, a little bit, and Hassel's in Queenstown. What other store?
If you don't remember, that means there's a lot.
No, there's not a lot. There's about 5. There's like close to 5. So yeah, but I think my two biggest ones are Men's and Spa. That's on an every week basis. So the others are
And in terms of that, how do you make sure that the quality, considering it's a home-based product, how do you make sure that the quality does not get compromised, considering the fact that it's small production, or it's not like you're making them in a machine and
Yeah.
for mass produce.
I think that's funny enough, that's exactly why you can ensure the quality, because it's not a bulk supply. It's not
Right.
like trucks at the moment. It's quite a, maybe it'll get to that point, but I also feel like my ginger beer would one day lose slightly its quality out of the machines. I think it takes a lot to fine tune those machines to mix for you. So you really can ensure the quality if you're mixing it by yourself at the
Right.
moment. So funny enough, you can actually ensure on the quality if it's more home based and doing it the old traditional way. Yeah.
But that would be time consuming in the long run, right?
Definitely.
So are you teaching your son how to make it so that he's part of the...
I wish he had time. I wish, yeah, he helps, like he'll help put on labeling maybe on some of the bottles, but no, the mixing he's not.
He's not about it.
That's not what he does. But there is someone I'm currently training to assist me.
Okay, and what challenges then have you faced since the beginning, when you started the business, up till now? For instance, now you're in 5 different stores. That process of getting into the stores and other challenges that might have come up, maybe preventing you from getting into the mainstream market.
Yeah. The biggest challenge, which I think it's consistency, because to maintain those stores, you need to be consistent and you need to be all about it. I can't be on a job if I'm trying to build this baby, because I will not do it the way I'm doing it right now if my attention is on something else. So the challenge of not being in a full-time job, because I would say that is a challenge, because that's an income, so when you're working on solely getting this income in,
you make sure
getting this one bag. So I think that's one. But other challenge that I've had, in the beginning, when I had to get things like my labeling, you work on that. You work on getting a barcode. You work on, not a lot of work, but you work on putting your label together.
Okay, and then in terms of being in mainstream now, are there any challenges within that, considering you were selling this small scale? Now you are in places like Spa, for instance, which is a big brand. So, how have they helped you, or what have you learned in that process, and other challenges that you might have faced?
Oh, okay. I'll start with the challenge, maybe. Let me start there. Let me start with how it has helped me, like being at Spa. So Spa has this thing called this program called the Spa Supplier Development Program, which they've teamed up with Intercom and Tenzing. Intercom is your food quality, food safety people, who you take certain certifications, and they help you produce a good quality product. For instance, I've just completed the basics for food handlers, for people in charge, for the person in charge. So they have courses like that where they help you also to train your staff as to just good food practice, and getting the space right, because you don't want anything contaminated or so you have to really be careful in the food space generally. And then Tenzing, I think they'll focus more on the labeling, where you'll get advice on labeling and just them checking out your working space, your branding, basically. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to touch on the challenge. What did I want to say?
What challenges you faced in that space of being mainstream now?
Of being mainstream. I think consistency is the biggest one, and I've already mentioned that. I think the other challenge was just getting everything certified, like getting the right admin and juggling that. Doing everything has been a big challenge. Doing the finance and because a lot goes into the business. It's not just the production of the actual product.
With having a business, I guess you're the accountant, you're the marketing manager, social media manager, your own auditor.
Yes.
You know, you produce you're the labor as well.
Yes, you also like sourcing out resources. Oh, yes, this is the challenge I was thinking about. If my supplier for my bottles doesn't have my shape, my one
Oh
size, my 1 liter
yes.
shape, then I can't have that distribution for that one bottle. So it's as a startup. So those are the challenges you will
Okay.
face. So you also need to plan ahead for such. So I've had that challenge of a bottle
So I
and
guess with planning ahead would be if you have an X amount per week that you need to produce, you try and have more bottles in
yes.
case they might not have them the next week.
Yes,
I
those are
see.
the learning curves that you find
Okay,
yourself.
okay. Well, we still have Phuti Swapi from Mandlovu Ginger Beer with us, and we are back with Phuti Swapi from Mandlovu Ginger Beer. So, previously we talked about how you were doing civil engineering and then water engineering, which was part of your previous degree, right? And now going into entrepreneurship. How was that shift between, you know, going to school for something, because you did not necessarily go to school
Yes.
to go make ginger beer or
No.
produce beverages,
Yeah.
but you know, you went for part of this process. So how
Yeah.
did you find the transition of, you know, doing the or coming from one and now doing this?
I it's quite interesting actually. It used to pull me back so much from actually doing it. I remember job hunting and I was speaking to one of my friends who's been in business for a few years now after she, I think I would say, jumped into business after studies, straight after studies, didn't really work so much.
Right.
And I didn't understand. I was like, no, but all this education, bruh, to go make and sell ginger beer. But then I realized that, you know what, I was downplaying this business thing because first and foremost, growing a business requires education,
Right.
your discipline, the discipline that I got from my other studies, I feel play a huge role. And one thing my friend said, she was like, no, you'll do just fine in business. You're smart. You're gonna do well. And that really did play a role because how I think I go about and my interactions and with clients and how I communicate with people, and you could underestimate, you think it's just ginger beer, but a lot goes
Into
into
it, yeah.
personal relationships with people, and a business honestly is so directly related to personal development. You can never not marry the two, and how well you develop yourself personally is how well your business is gonna go.
That is a very
I
good point because like you said, I guess with any degree that you might do,
Yeah.
you had to hand in assignments on a particular day.
Exactly.
Therefore, you work towards something. You do a little bit every day in order to get to that end point.
Exactly.
You have to hand them in at a certain point. So having that discipline, knowing that
The
you know a
deadline.
client needs something at a particular time, and also because it's your own, you make sure that it gets done properly.
You do.
To the point sometimes where you don't even want to employ other people because you
Yes.
feel that you need to control every aspect. Meanwhile, you can't necessarily do
You
that.
can't, yeah.
And with that said, do you plan on expanding to the point where now you have a team working with you? Because doing it by yourself, you know, it will get tiring.
Yeah, I have to do it. In my own way, in like taking baby steps. It's funny. I was just thinking yesterday about how we, you know, with as entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs in South Africa, right? There's always this pressure of employing people,
Right.
and you forget to realize how you've employed you as a first person. I mean, there's like a good 3 years now, me full time in it, where I would, if I can, for lack of a better word, but I've taken myself out of the system
Right.
and managed to generate a certain income for myself.
Right.
And I mean, how I see that has done what that has done for me. Of course, I want to do the same for others. I need to grow. I need to have a team. I need to grow. And also, I just can't do it all by myself.
Yeah.
I really can't. If I want to get to a certain level, I can't do it all by myself.
So there are plans of
Definitely,
expanding
there are
soon.
plans
So
of.
Queenstown must just be ready for you too.
No, definitely, there are plans of expanding.
So what would you then advise other entrepreneurs, maybe someone who has, the reason I'm asking you this question, right? We go to school, we get these degrees. And I was having this conversation with a friend of mine earlier about how the assembly line of degree holders versus the amount of jobs that are available, the ratio does not, it's not equal, right? And so how do we then try and get students, for instance, to sort of think a little bit more open-minded about, okay, you're getting this degree, but is this a degree to get employed, or is this a degree to employ yourself perhaps one day? You know, so what would you then advise maybe other engineers who are seeking employment but are not trying to, or don't see this route, or haven't thought about this route of perhaps starting their own business?
It's difficult, Nati, because it's quite blurred by you going to school to obtain a degree. Most of our studies are centered around us being employees.
Right.
That's the reality. So it's, I mean, what a small percentage of your studies are where they show you the whole full value chain,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's difficult, first and foremost, because it's blurred to see what entrepreneurship is as someone has a day. It's difficult. But what I would say and advise, I think that was your question about what I would advise, be bold to take the chance and realize there are serious returns in starting a business, especially starting a business small. I had a hard time swallowing, I don't know if it's pride, but to start this small. This is starting small from what it is that I've actually studied for.
Right.
You know,
right.
but being bold enough to start small and realizing that you're building on something and you're building a certain way of seeing things, because this is another different world, and it is hard though. It can be very, very hard, because you're not you can't sit back and relax and expect to get a salary. Not to say
it's not a 9 to 5.
It's not a 9 to 5. Not to say people with 9 to 5s are always relaxed, but then
there's not always that guarantee of return, I guess.
Yes. Everything is up to you. Like, whether you get paid or not is up to you. Yeah.
All right, we still have Phuti Swapi from Mandlovu Ginger Beer. We are back with Phuti Swapi from Mandlovu Ginger Beer. So where can people find you?
Okay, people can find me on Mandlovu Ginger Beer Facebook. There's a business page which I would love for people to like and follow, because on that page I post where it's available, and it's mostly Queenstown stores, unfortunately, for now, and Stegstrom. So Mandlovu Ginger Beer will be available there in 500 ml and 1 liter bottles.
Okay.
At those few shops, which you will see on the page, Mandlovu Ginger Beer on Facebook. Please follow and like. And then I do cater for events, like if people want it in bulk. There's a 25-liter bottle with a dispenser, with a tap that you can put it nicely on a table, and people can pour out of the tap, or even a bucket if you're gonna pour it into jars.
Okay.
Those are not my favorite ways of supplying it, because the big containers, I always need them back. They are not part of the purchase.
Yeah.
So yes, that's how that's how people can get Mandlovu Ginger Beer. My contact numbers are on the labeling on the page as well that I've just referred you to. So you can WhatsApp me, you can call me, you can email me.
And you did bring me one as well, and I'm so excited to try it.
All that information on there.
I'm sure my sister and my mom will be happy as well. So yeah, I'm actually very glad to have had this conversation with you. I've been checking out your page, and I'm very proud of you as well for starting it.
Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you heard it here today with Phuti Swapi from Mandlovu Ginger Beer, and we played the jams, and we got insight into the world of just homemade ginger beer, and also, I guess, civil engineering and how vast it is. And water
and
water engineering. Yeah. So we will see you next week at 1 p.m. I am Lunathi Fudu signing out.